deal with the rhetoric. And, I agree with you, but it's not really rhetoric we can deal with. I mean, you have millions of people tuning into a propaganda network every night. And then, as if that were not bad enough, that's an extremist network itself. You have these fringe pop-up outlets, from OWN to Newsmax. Then you have the social media component. That train has left the station. There is no let's deal with the rhetoric. At this point, I do think we have to have serious conversations around preparing for actual violence. People keep saying a civil war is coming. I would say a civil war is here. And I don't mean to be hyperbolic. We can look at what has happened just in the past week alone. Since all this has happened, we've had 2 people try to declare war with FBI field offices. I don't think at this point we're going to all pack up our bags and go home and sing Kumbaya. So from a law enforcement angle, what would you recommend the infrastructure of the country do? Because not everybody has the security of Capitol Hill.
Well, I should say this, Trace, is that I personally believe that God intervened today, not just on behalf of President Trump, but on behalf of our country.
What a lunatic, dude.
If you think about this, 1 centimeter's distance in the path of a bullet was the future of not only Donald Trump's life, but I think the life of the United States of America. Imagine.
We see that. We are not, I know we're weird, but we're not dumb. Yes, we're weird.
Imagine what we would be not for a hair's length difference in the path of a bullet. And I think that that's frightening.
Huh? You don't shit your dumbass. All right.
This is a moment where if one positive thing comes out of this otherwise near tragedy, let it be this, that first of all, we saw a president, a commander-in-chief, who in his most vulnerable moment, you saw it unvarnished. He stood up, he took the fire, he took the hit, and still stood up for the people who he stepped up to represent. And I think the other thing we have to take away is in the United States of America, this is not who we are. Disagree or not, we settle our differences peacefully through free speech and open debate, not this way. And so if one silver lining comes out of tonight,
or about this assassin, about what drove him, maybe why he did this. We know he wasn't from this community exactly, but he wasn't from too far from here.
I couldn't tell you anything more about motive, sir. I think we all have our own opinions and guesses on why somebody would be driven to do this. What I will say is that it's very clear that, and I'm going to continue to refer to him as an animal and a maniac, was unwell mentally. My first thoughts, though, without knowing motive, are that there is a lot of vitriol and hateful rhetoric that's oftentimes directed at President Trump and his supporters, and some very strong language that's used sometimes. So, it's my hope that hateful rhetoric from the left, these claims that Donald J. Trump's presidency would destroy any remnant of democracy in the United States, or create some kind of theocratic fascist state where women would have no rights. It's really my hope that kind of language isn't what motivated this.
Yes, Mayor, I understand.
Was a decent shooter, we'd be reporting this much differently right now. I would tell you that 130 yards, I've done this. I'm sure Pete's done this. I can literally look down, not even through a scope, but basic iron sights, close my eyes. Once I look at target, pull the trigger 3 times, I'm going to hit my target at that distance. It is that easy of a shot. And so this is by miracle. This is by the divine intervention. This is by God's protection. And Rachel's correct. Every time you see so many people placing hands on him, so many people who are praying over him, we know Ephesians 6 when it talks about the armor of God and his response. Let me tell you, President Trump was not fearful. He was pissed off that someone just tried to take his life. He is standing there willing to take that bullet for us as the American people. And we have to recall the fact that when he stood up, he did not stand in fear. He stood to chant, fight, 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 because he's fighting for America. He's fighting for this republic, and he's fighting for every one of us who are sitting here right now talking about this incident.
Yes, John Doe. Thank you, God, for President Trump, and thank you for protecting him